What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of CNC. This is episode number 52, and we start today's off with a bid for Norrington Davis. We signed him on a free transfer last season. He sort of shared the game time with Tony Matthews last year, and at 77 overall and 26 years old. I have to say, with Matthews just not growing, I might make him my starting left back this year, and I'm gutted about it as well, because Tony has been in good form ever since he came out of the academy, but this is a case of where dynamic potential doesn't work. He's still only 74 overall, yet 19 years old. Last season, he grew 1 rating, despite having a great season in the championship. It makes no sense. But still, following that, as you could see, I got an email from the Wales FA telling me to submit my national squad by the deadline. And I decided to check the calendar for the first time this season, and I realised that my worst fears had come true. Yeah, of course, it'll be 2026 come the end of the season, and unfortunately, there are no World Cup qualifiers, no European Championship qualifiers. There are just international friendlies. So, unfortunately, it means one of two things. Now, it means that Wales have already had their World Cup qualifiers, and they happened before I took over and took the job, and they failed to qualify for the national tournament. Or it means that unfortunately there will never be any qualifiers and no chance of qualifying for a tournament. And I'm really hoping it's the first one, because if it's the second, then it means that we'll never play national tournament games with Wales, and we'll just have friendlies through the season, which of course will always simulate. So yeah, I'm very concerned. I really felt as though with the World Cup at the end of the season there might be some qualifiers this year, since there weren't any last season. But of course, it is worth pointing out again, we took the Wales job midway through last season, so I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. We'll see what happens at the start of next season, even though we've only just begun this one. But it does seem as though we may not ever have any qualifiers. I guess the third option is that you might just occasionally go into a national tournament and never have to play any qualifiers. I know that's happened before, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Still for the first of 2 games in today's episode as we close out August, coming on the back of the win on the opening day against the Magpies. We beat them by 3 goals to 2, but it was such a tough, balanced game that could have gone either way. The following one, our first away day in the nation's capital in London, taking on West Ham. Well, all I'll say is this. If this game is anything to go by, well, the Belgian needs to get himself more consistent minutes, because Divock Origi in this game was tearing me apart. He scored both goals for West Ham as they were 2-0 up, however, with 10 minutes to go. Yeah, second goal was probably my fault. Third goal was definitely my fault. I don't know what it is about goalkeeper distribution in this year's FIFA, but they're bloody awful. I mean, absolutely terrible. Price has got 2 amber shirts just to the right of him, and then Rashesha to the far right as well, plus Terry Taylor as well. There's 4 free amber shirts. I just gently tap the X button to give it to one of them, and he rolls it straight to a West Ham player. Lee makes it free as the Hammers complete what was a big win for them. And whilst I didn't play too badly, my defence in this game was shocking, and I got a rude awakening in this game here in London. I always say it, good is not good enough against the AI on Ultimate. Well, in this game, I wasn't even good. I was average at best, and average at best is not going to cut it as a newly promoted side in the Premier League. I was absolutely torn apart, and that third goal really wound me up. I don't know what Price was doing there. I just gently tapped the X button to quickly roll the ball out and play out from the back. He just gave it straight back to West Ham. Even so, I'll take the blame. 3-0 the final score, and a rude awakening there. Yeah, we got the win on the opening day against the Magpies. Very big win there against Eddie Howe's side, but that following game was a welcome call to the Premier League. It's at the Championship. You can't make those sort of mistakes in the top tier. So with the second game, obviously it's just a big one here already. You could call this a relegation 6-pointer. Dean Smith's Norwich City, who bottled the title last season. But in the end, as we realised, it wasn't bottling, it was flexing. They gave us the title, they gave West Brom automatic promotion on the final day and said, yeah, we want the TV money, to be honest. We want to do it via the playoffs. And they did. And they went up. And in the first few minutes of this game, Yeah, I realise that these guys are way too good for the championship. Fagioli makes it 1-0 with an absolute belter of a goal, but I didn't even touch the ball from kickoff. That was a true AI on ultimate goal as they got themselves in front inside the first 5 minutes, and I was already seeing the warning signs. Falling out, we hit the post after a great save on Rabi Matondo, and then Ben Davies went absolutely flying. We needed a stuntman for Ben Davies to execute that move. That was ridiculous. He did a somersault in the air and then landed awkwardly on his back as well. No surprise he got injured during that moment there. Norwich in front of the break though in the half where they had been a slightly better team, and 8 minutes after the restart they would make it 2. Yeah, smacked in at the near post. The Canaries doubling the lead, and I just couldn't stop them going forward. Unlike the West Ham game though, like in the West Ham game, I felt as though I was the master of my own downfall. Just wasn't defending very well. In this game, I just couldn't stop Norwich. They played a really high press. They continued to put me under an immense amount of pressure during the game. Never had the ball for as long as I needed to be more competitive. And after they got their third goal, to be fair, with me making another error with Rashesha, trying to play out from the back and gifting them the chance, which they gladly took. We got a consolation goal a minute after go. Rabi Matondo getting another, his second in 3 games to make it 3-1, but I knew it would be nothing other than that. Back-to-back defeats, our first defeat at Rodney Parade this season, 3-1, 6 goals conceded in 2 and 8 in 3 games. Pretty worrying sign defensively. And again, a really, really tough game. We didn't play it too badly, but simply put was not good enough. And this is a rude awakening to the Premier League. In the Football League, maybe I could have got away with games like that and still scraped a point, or possibly even all 3. In the Premier League, that's never going to happen. If we're to win, we need to be on our game right from the first whistle to the last. So on the back of the back-to-back defeats, I thought, you know what, 8 goals conceded in 2, I've got to make some signings on deadline day. We're at around 12.75 million in the budget, and I knew I need to tighten up my leaky defence. So I said to Lewis Webb, our former goalkeeper who was part of our League 2 promotion winning side and spent half a year with us in League 1 as well. Look, when you left, it was a little bit sour, the way you sort of decided to put yourself on the transfer list, and I couldn't do anything about it. Look, why don't you come home? Water under the bridge, bury the hatchet, why don't you come home? I thought this was a brilliant deal. I noticed on the transfer shortlist, he had a release clause, which is only slightly over the market valuation. And at 76 overall and 23 years old, he's one of the highest rated Welsh goalkeepers in the game. And look, I love Price, don't get me wrong, the lad with the samurai top knot, he's only 18 years old. However, he's just not growing very quickly. Whereas Webb, since leaving to Spain, has had a brilliant sign of growth, up to 76 overall, higher rated than Price now. And as much as I love the teenage goalkeeper, I was thinking maybe, just maybe, we need someone that will grow a little bit quicker and has more first team quality as well. Maybe only a rating higher, but much better stats, and again, based on the development plans, should grow quicker despite being older as well. So he must have more potential through dynamic potential. So yeah, I thought it was a great deal there. Webb returning for a very cheap deal, all things considered, with that release clause of Real Sociedad B. And also decided to sign a new centre-back as well. We had a little bit of money remaining, not too much. So I couldn't get the guy that I was targeting initially, which was Ethan and Padu. However, I did find this guy playing for Rayo Vallecano in La Liga. 4.1 market valuation, 21-year-old Gavin Bevan. And with the CB and LB listed positions, it's pretty clear who this guy's regen is. Yeah, remember Paul Dummett left to Malaga for Season 2. He's since retired, so this is his regen. Paul Dummett's regen, coming to help us defend better. Yep, you heard that correctly. So Bevan is in, again, 74 overall, 21 years old. What I really like about him is he got 89 strength, 77 aggression, and good defensive stats already. So if we want to stop a development plan, that'll get his medium defensive work rate up to high, and also improve the stand tackle and the defensive awareness as well. He looks like a real old school centre half, like a no-nonsense type of defender, and that's what we're going to need in the Premier League. Forget your fancy playing out from the back. If you got to hoof it, you got to hoof it. If that's how we got to defend better in this top flight, then so be it. Bevan's in for 4.25 mil, and yeah, I'm relatively pleased with our signings there on deadline day. They were good value for money deals. So we're just over 34.75 spent on our 3 new signings. Dan James coming in, club record signing. Bevan, a good young centre half for the future, and Webb coming back to compete with Price as our starting goalkeeper this year. I have to say, you look at the team, we are up to 4.5 star. We've improved the first 11 with 2 new players coming in, and Bevan with more quality in depth as well. That was key for me this season. You have to ask the question, have we got what it takes to avoid the embarrassment of a relegation scrap this season? I think the first 11's really good. Outside of that, not too sure, but a tough start for Newport County, winning on the opening day but only by a goal. But back-to-back losses here has just dropped to 14th place. The boys are asking for mid-table, and after what's been a tough start, I'll take it come the end of the year. But that will end today's episode of CNC, guys. Massive thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. If you haven't, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of CNC very soon.